What's New in Fantasy, November 2024. Hello, welcome to the series where I find as many fantasy new releases as I can and let you know about them. Let's waste no time and jump right into it. So, on November 1st, we have The Naturalist Society by Carrie, Vaughn. In the summer of 1880, the death of Beth Stanley's husband puts her life's work in jeopardy. The magic of arcane taxonomy dictates that every natural thing in the world, from weather to animals, can be labeled, and doing so grants the practitioner some of that subject's unique power. But only men are permitted to train in this philosophy. Losing her husband means that Beth loses the name they put on her work and any influence she might have wielded. Brandon West and Anton Torrance are campaigning for their expedition in the South Pole, a mission that some believe could make a taxonomist all-powerful by tapping into the Earth's magnetic forces. Their late friend, Harry Stanley's knowledge and connections would have been instrumental, but when they attempt to take custody of his work, they find it was never his at all. Tied together by this secret and its implications, Beth, Bran, and Anton must find a way for Beth to use her talent for the good of the world before she's discovered by those who would lay claim to her rare potential and her very freedom. Then still on the 1st, we have A Tribute of Fire by Sariah Wilson. Leah is the princess of Lotus, a dying desert nation cursed centuries ago by an earth goddess, one still worshipped by the thriving and adversarial nation of Ilion. Every year, Ilion offers the goddess a sacrifice, 2 Locrian maidens forced to compete in a life and death race to reach her temple. In a millennium, no maiden has made it out of Ilion alive. This year, Leah is one of the hunted. An education in battle gives her a fighting chance, but the challenges are greater than she feared. Leah's beloved but untrained sister Quinn has been put in the path of danger. The winding streets of Ilion itself have been transformed into a labyrinth maze of countless choices and dead ends. And if the risks weren't significant enough, Leah is reluctantly drawn to the commandingly attractive Jason, an Elonian sailor she loathes to trust and desires like no man before. The tribute game is on. It's up to Leah to lift the goddess's curse, restore Lotus to its former glory, and change the fate of every young woman destined to follow in her path. Then on November 5th, we have Stranger Skies by Pascale, Lacelle. And this is Book 2 in The Drowned Gods. So, we will look into Book 1. Book 1 is called Curious Tides. Emery might be a student at the prestigious Aldrin College for Lunar Magics, but her healing abilities have always been mediocre at best. Until a treacherous night in the Dovemere Sea Caves leaves a group of her classmates dead and her as the only survivor. Now, Emery is plagued by strange, impossible powers that no healer should possess. Powers that would ruin her life if the wrong person were to discover them. To gain control of these new abilities, Emery enlists the help of the school's most reclusive student, Baz, a boy who already well versed in the deadly nature of darker magic, whose sister happened to be one of the drowned students and Emery's best friend. Determined to find the truth behind the drownings and the cult-like secret society she's convinced her classmates were involved in, Emery is faced with even more questions when the supposedly drowned students start washing ashore alive, only for them each immediately to die horrible magical deaths. And Emery is not the only one seeking answers. When her new magic captures the society's attention, she finds herself drawn into the world of privilege and power, all while wondering if the truth she's searching for might lead her right back to Dovemere, to face the fate she was never meant to escape. Then still on the 5th, we have Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. And this is Secrets of the Nile number 2, so we will look at book number 1. Book number 1 is called What the River Knows. Bolivian-Argentinian Inez Oliveira belongs to the glittering upper society of 19th century Buenos Aires, and like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inez has everything a girl might want except for the one thing she yearns the most, her globe-trotting parents, who frequently leave her behind. When she receives word of their tragic deaths, Inez inherits their massive fortune in a mysterious garden, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. Yearning for answers, Inez sails to Cairo, bringing her sketch pads and a golden ring her father sent to her for safekeeping before he died. But upon her arrival, the old world magic tethered to the ring pulls her down a path where she soon discovers there's more to her parents' disappearance than what her guardian led her to believe. With her guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistant thwarting her at every move, Inez must rely on ancient magic to uncover the truth about her parents' disappearance, or risk becoming a pawn in a larger game that will kill her. Then we have The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. Teo is an immigrant fortune teller, traveling between villages with just her trusty mule for company. She only tells small fortunes, whether it will hail next week, which boy the barmaid will kiss, when the cow will calve. She knows from bitter experience that big fortunes come with big consequences. Even if it's a lonely life, it's better than the one she left behind. But a small fortune unexpectedly becomes something more when a semi-reformed thief and an ex-mercenary recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. Soon they're joined by a baker with a need for adventure and, of course, a slightly magical cat. Teo sets down a new path with companions as big-hearted as her fortunes are small, but as she lowers her walls, the shadows of her past are closing in, and she'll have to decide whether to risk everything to preserve the family she never thought she could have. Then on November 12th, we have The Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri, and this is Burning Kingdoms number 3. We will look at book number 1. Book number 1 is called The Jasmine Throne. Exiled by her despotic brother, Princess Malini spends her days dreaming of vengeance while imprisoned in the Harana, an ancient cliffside temple that was once the revered source of the magical deathless waters, but is now little more than a decaying ruin. The secrets of the Harana call to Pariah, but in order to keep the truth of her past safely hidden, she works as a servant in the Loathe Regent's household and cleaning Malini's chambers. When Malini witnesses Pariah's true nature, their destinies become irrevocably tangled. One is a ruthless princess seeking to steal a throne, the other a powerful priestess desperate to save her family. Together, they will set an empire ablaze. Then we have Skyshade by Aster, and this is Lightlark number 3. We will look at book number 1. Book number 1 is called Lightlark. Welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game, where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves from their realms, one ruler must die. To survive, Isla Crown must lie, cheat, and betray, even as love complicates everything. Then we have The Crack at the Heart of Everything by Fiona, Fenn. He accidentally cursed himself. When the consequences get him exiled to the land he helps terrorize, can this evil wizard find redemption and love? Orpheus can't believe it's come to this. After helping his childhood friend conquer the realm by raising an army of hell beasts, the befuddled dark sorcerer finds himself banished when the price of his magic endangers the palace. Isolated and betrayed, the feared spellcaster isn't exactly thrilled when his irritating and handsome rival keeps stepping between him and certain doom. Ill at ease in the barren wasteland his powers created, Orpheus slowly warms to the charismatic ex-general's relentless overtures. But as his feelings grow more intense, the former villain struggles with an inconvenient calling towards heroism. Will dabbling in good deeds get him killed or open the doors to happily ever after? And then we have We Shall Be Monsters by Alyssa Weiss. Gemma lives with her mother in an isolated antique shop in Michigan, near a small patch of woods that conceals an enchanted gateway to fairyland. She knows she's not supposed to go into the woods. Her mother Virginia has warned her multiple times about the monsters that lurk there, and yet, defiantly, curiously, she goes anyway. Virginia understands her daughter's defiance. She knows the lure of the woods all too well. Her own mother warned her about the monsters that resided there, and she also did not listen. Until a witch cursed her true love, Ash, Gemma's father, into a form of a beast in the days before Gemma's birth. And if Virginia cannot break the curse before her daughter turns 15, Ash will eat Virginia's heart and Gemma will belong to the witch. So Virginia will do whatever she can to protect her daughter, even if it means stealing Gemma's memories away. Everything changes when Gemma inadvertently gets too close to the truth and the witch steals Virginia away instead. Now it is up to Gemma to venture deep into Fae lands to try and rescue her mother and break the curse. And then we have Our Deadly Designs by Kaylyn Josephson, and this is This Dark Descent, book number 2. Book number 1 is called This Dark Descent. Every 10 years, the citizens of Veridel gather for the Illinier, a treacherous horse race famous for its alluring prize money and high body count. Tough as nails, Makira Roussel, the last in a line of renowned horse breeders, is desperate to win this year's race at any cost. But to make it to the track, she'll need to gather new friends and escape the crosshairs of old foes. Beautiful rogue enchanter with a hidden past just beginning to come into her true power, and dashing and ambitious young lord in the midst of a fierce succession battle, brilliant prickly loner, loyal only to his friends and his lovable but mysterious pet cat, a ruthless aristocrat determined to protect his family prestige and an unrivaled power. Each has their own vengeful secrets to protect and reasons to help or hinder Makira's odds of winning the Illinier. And in a world as dangerous as this, who among them will be left standing at the finish line? Then we have Overcaptain by Ellie Modesitt Jr., and this is the Saga of Recluse number 24. We will look at book number 1, and that is called The Magic of Recluse. Young Laris yearns to find a place in the world better suited to his skills and temperament. In Recluse, this means taking one of two options: permanent exile from Recluse, or the Danger Geld, a complex, rule-laden wanderer in the lands beyond. Many do not survive. Laris chooses Danger Geld. Laris will need magic in the lands beyond, where the power of the Chaos Wizards reign unchecked, and he must learn to use his powers in an orderly way before his wanderer or fall prey to chaos. And then we have Toto by A.G. Hackwith. I was mostly a good dog until they sold me out to animal control, okay? But if it's a choice between Oz with its creepy little singing dudes and being behind bars in gray old Kansas, I'll choose the place where animals talk and run the show for now, thanks. It's not my fault that the kid is stuck here too, or that she stumbled into a tug of war over a pair of slippers that don't even taste good. Now one witch in good eyeliner calls her pretty and we're off on a quest, teenagers. I try to tell her she's falling in with the wrong crowd when she befriends a freaking hedge wizard made of straw, that blue jay with revolutionary aspirations, and the walking tin can. Still, I'm not one to judge when there's the small matter of a coup in the Forest Kingdom. Look, something really stinks in Oz, and this wizard guy and the witches positively reek of it. As usual, it's going to be up to a sensible little dog to do a big dog's job and get to the bottom of it. And trust me, little dogs can get away with anything. And then we have The Navigator's Children by Tad Williams, and this is The Last King of Ostenard, number 4. We will look at book number 1, which is The Witchwood Crown. 24 years after the conclusion of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, Tad returns to his beloved universe and characters with the Witchwood Crown. the first novel in the long-awaited sequel trilogy to The Last King of Oosternard. More than 30 years have passed since the events of the earlier novels, and the world has reached a critical turning point once again. The realm is threatened by divisive forces, even as old allies are lost and others are lured down darker paths. Perhaps most terrifying of all, the Norns, the long-vanquished elvish foe, are stirring once again, preparing to reclaim the mortal-ruled lands that once were theirs. And then on November 19th, we have Serpent Sea by Maiya Ibrahim. And this is the Spice Road Trilogy number 2. Book number 1 is called Spice Road. In the hidden desert city of Kalia, there is a secret spice magic that awakens the affinities of those who drink the Misrai tea. 16-year-old Imani has the affinity for iron and is able to wield a dagger like no other warrior. She has garnered the reputation as being the next great shield for battling jinn, ghouls, and other monsters spreading across the sands. Her reputation has been overshadowed, however, by her brother, who tarnished the family name after it was revealed that he was stealing his nation's coveted spice, a telltale sign of magical obsession. Soon after that, he disappeared, believed to have died beyond the Forbidden Wastes. Despite her brother's betrayal, there isn't a day that goes by when Imani doesn't grieve him. But when Imani discovers signs that her brother may be alive and spreading the nation's magic to outsiders, she makes a deal with the council that she will find him and bring him back to Kalia, where he will face punishment. Accompanied by other shields, including Taha, a powerful beast seer who can control the minds of falcons, she set out on her mission. Imani will soon find that many secrets lie beyond the Forbidden Wastes and in her own heart, but will she find her brother? Next we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent, and that is Crowns of Nyaxia, number 3. Book number 1 is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. The adopted human daughter of the Nightborn vampire king, Sariah, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than the prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Sariah is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He is a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. Yet, what terrifies Sariah most of all is she finds herself oddly drawn to him. But there is no room for compassion in the Kajari. War for the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Sariah thought she knew about her home, and Rain may understand her more than anyone. But their blossoming attraction could be her downfall, in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. Then we have The Fate of Silent Gods by Scott Drakeford. And that is The Age of Ire, Book 2. Book number 1 is Rise of the Mages. Imrael Ire is a student of war with lofty ambitions. Despite being so poor, his boots are more whole than leather. He and his talented younger brother, Ban, work hard to build themselves a better life at the Citadel, a school that specializes in both infusory, crafting, and military arts. Their lives are upended when the power-hungry Lord Governor of the neighboring province invades the school with the help of a sinister sect of priests devoted to the newly awakened fallen gods of glory. Many of the infusory crafter students are captured, including Ban. Though Imrael stands little chance against the Lord Governor and his armies, he's desperate to save his brother, even if that means accepting the help of allies with uncertain motives, or becoming a practitioner of forbidden magic. There is nothing he won't sacrifice to save his brother, but what happens when the cost of success is not his to pay? And then we have The Mirror by Nora Roberts, and this is the Lost Bride Trilogy, number 2. Book number 1 is Inheritance. 1806, Astrid Poole sits in her bridal clothes, overwhelmed with happiness, but before her marriage can be consummated, she is murdered, and the circle of gold torn from her finger. Her last words are a promise to Colin never to leave him. Graphic designer Sonia McTavish is stunned to learn that her late father had a twin he never knew about. and that her newly discovered uncle, Colin Poole, has left her almost everything he owned, including a majestic Victorian house on the Maine coast, which the will stipulates she must live in for at least 3 years. Her engagement recently broken, she sets off to find out why the boys were separated at birth, and why it was all kept secret until a genealogy website brought it to light. Trey, the young lawyer who greets her at the sprawling clifftop manor, notes Sonia's unease, and acknowledges that yes, the place is haunted, but just a little. Sure enough, Sonia finds objects moved and music playing out of nowhere. She sees a painting by her father inexplicably hanging in her deceased uncle's office, and a portrait of a woman named Astrid, whom the lawyer refers to as the first lost bride. It's becoming clear that Sonia has inherited far more than a house. She has inherited a centuries-old curse and a puzzle to be solved if there is any hope of breaking it. Then we have The Lost Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. Kimbrel Thorne is spending a few hours away from her newborn, and she's determined to enjoy the party no matter what. But when guests start dropping dead, Kim has no choice but to get to work. She's a member of the Guild of Hounds after all, and she can't help picking up the scent of trouble. She's not the only one. Her professional and personal nemesis, notorious burglar Rika Nunsuch, is on the prowl. They quickly identify what's causing the mayhem, a mysterious grandfather clock that sends them down an echo every time it chimes. In each strange new layer of reality, time resets and a sinister figure appears to perform a blood-soaked ritual. As Kim and Rika fall into increasingly macabre versions of their city, they'll need to rely on their wits and each other to unravel the secret of the clock and save their city. Next we have The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. All her life, Vasa Kuzar has been sharpened into a blade. After losing her mother, her only remaining parent, to a mysterious dark magic that has since awakened within her, Vasa is certain death looms. So is her merciless brother, who aims to eliminate Vasa as a threat to his crown. In one last political scheme, he marries her off to Reed of Mira, a ruthless foreign ruler, in hopes that he can use her death as a rallying cry to finally invade Reed's nation. All Vasa has to do is die. But she is desperate to live. Vasa enters her new marriage with every intent to escape it, wielding the hard-won political prowess and combat abilities her late father instilled in her. But to her surprise, Reed offers her a deal. Help him win the votes to rise in power, and she can walk free. In exchange, he will share his knowledge about the dark magic running through her veins and help keep it at bay. This proposal may be too good to refuse, yet Vasa and Reed's undeniable attraction threatens to break the rules of their arrangement. As her brother's lethal machinations take form, everything is at stake. Vasa must learn to trust her new husband, but how can she, especially when their perfect political marriage begins to feel like the real thing? And that's it. Those are the novels I have for you in November. Hopefully something stood out and sounds interesting to you. I know there were a few in there that I'm actually rather interested in, and I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to see more in the future, and I'd love to see you around again. With that said, have a great one. Princess Malini. Their destinies become irrevocably and if Virginia cannot break the curse before her father turns 15. Then we have Our Deadly Designs by Kaylyn Josephson. A dashing and ambitious young lord in the mist. Next we have The Mirror by Nora Roberts, and this is The Lost Blade.